Of course, the nation is preparing for a very different November election where we could see long lines at the polls due to social distancing and a lack of workers. Well, today, the state of Ohio turned to an unlikely place for advice, Cedar Point. Mark Namick explains.
Known for its roller coasters and long lines, Cedar Point forced to spread out patrons at its Sandusky amusement park to keep everyone safe during the pandemic. Open since July, the park's experience in crowd management now being shared with elections officials.
We found that most of our guests don't have a problem social distancing, but they forget about it.
Speaking during a virtual meeting with Secretary of State Frank LaRose and others, Cedar Point General Manager Jason McClure says visual and audio cues help, but having workers offer in-person reminders is key to line management.
If everyone's going to enjoy the park, then everybody has to kind of work together to follow the guidelines for health and safety that's out there. And I think it's the same thing for voting, right? And it's you have to be respectful when we remind people of what our policies are and those requirements. But it's important that we do, reinforce it.
Good line management will come down to having enough poll workers, though they are in short supply. Amy Roskilly, who works for a water conservation agency, is among those willing to step in for the first time.
Well, if anybody that knows me well knows that I have kept my COVID cluster very small, but I feel like this is one of those cases where the stakes are really high. So if I can be a part of that, I'm willing to break open my COVID cluster a little bit and with all the precautions I can and that the Board of Elections is willing to provide, be a part of that.
Elections officials are still encouraging people to vote early by mail. The Secretary of State's office just mailed each of Ohio's 7.8 million registered voters an application for an absentee ballot. Those who fill it out will get their ballot around October 5th, with plenty of time to fill it out and no waiting. Mark Namick, 3 News.